the practice field yesterday, and shameless shout-outs coming up, 7:45. Shameless shout-outs, 888-957-9570. Yes, San Jose Jazz fan, come out to Coliseum tomorrow. We'll be at Giants A's, Shasky and I. We'll be at Giants and A's, tailgating.
It will be toasty, I believe, tomorrow. It'll be a little hot.
A little hot?
A little hot.
I don't like
Wear
that.
layers.
Wait, if it's going to be hot, you don't
Just in
wear
case.
layers.
Well, just in case I'm wrong is what I'm saying.
All right. You said it's going to be hot. Now you
Well,
want
I'm
me to
saying
dress
you
like
can take layers off. So
right.
bring a sweatshirt if it's windy, because I'm up and a little more towards the hills. But my area says if I go on the map, it'll be like 80 degrees maybe. So maybe a little lower. It'll be mid-70s.
All right.
Maybe like to be warm, Bonte.
See, you got a lot of people on YouTube comparing this team to the 2010 team. There are no comparisons other than the bullpen. The lineup's different. The starting rotation's different.
Timely hitting and bullpen. I think this Giants team has shown you they can have timely hits and a good bullpen. And if they get hot at the right time, it's not crazy is all I'm saying. It's not crazy.
All right.
But you know what's crazy, Bonte?
I would admit, if they win the World Series, it would be crazy. That would be insane. That would be insane.
Of all the scenarios happening next, of all the teams that can win it, the championship aspirations for the Golden State Warriors are real. The championship aspirations for the San Francisco 49ers are real.
Now,
people are looking at the Giants. No championship
Pazzi in
aspirations.
P-Town. What's TV Bonte offering for a Giants World Series appearance? Offering my services to NBC Sports Bay Area. That's what I'm offering.
When he's on there, he's going to have
I got to figure out where we're
down.
tailgating. We'll figure that out in a second here.
Oh, what lot?
Yeah. What lot? Yeah, I didn't even get the intel yet. I'll get that information in a second.
Got time.
We got plenty of time. Trey Lance, 49ers camp. Shanahan spoke yesterday, and let's start with this one. Let's start with this cut about Brock Purdy. Here's what Shanahan said about Brock.
I don't think anyone's back to where they were exactly last season. We're going through training camp. You know, a lot of guys had more practices than him, but we only had 6 in OTAs, but he'll get there. He's doing some good things. They're all doing some good, all doing some bad. But we're not worried about Brock. Brock's the real deal. He knows how to play, and we just got to have our team keep getting better, and he'll keep getting better as we go.
Brock's the real deal. What'd you take from that? As we are going to be at the parking lot on the 66th Street side, the first exit back of the parking lot. You'll see a Teamster truck. Time of the tailgate is 1:30 to 4 o'clock. Parking lot on the 66th Street side at the Coliseum tomorrow. The first exit in the back of the parking lot as well. That's where we'll be at.
There you go. What I take from Kyle Shanahan right there, I mean, that tracks. I mean, Brock Purdy's QB1 for a reason. He obviously believes in him. John Lynch believes in him. This entire team believes in Brock. The question that it's ultimately going to come down to is, does Brock believe in Brock? Like, after that injury, we've seen weird things happen with quarterbacks. Derek Carr, specifically in this market, never was the same. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, after that ACL injury, Bonte, I mean, I know they went to the Super Bowl, but his confidence, a little bit, the oh-no throws were rampant after that. I didn't really see him much prior to that. The oh-no throws for Jimmy Garoppolo post-injury were rampant. So I'm looking at the turnovers. I'm looking at, the body. What's going to be going on with Brock Purdy as we head into joint practices next week? And that's what's really going to tell me if Brock Purdy believes in Brock Purdy, not Kyle Shanahan, because I know Kyle Shanahan believes in him. Does Brock Purdy believe in himself?
Well, does Brock Purdy, and I believe he does believe in himself. I think Brock Purdy believes he's a guy. There's nothing that I saw in his play that tells me that he's not going to believe in himself, or he doesn't have the confidence to thrive in his offense. And why shouldn't he believe? You got Christian McCaffrey, you got Debo, you got Ayuk, you got George Kittle.
When the live bullets come, though, Bonte, it's different.
It's different.
When you're in the pads and you got the Fred Warners, like your teammates. I cannot wait for joint practices next week.
Joint practice, but you can't hit the quarterback, but the live bullets will be flying. But we saw
they'll take some hits.
Look, Brock Purdy, what endeared himself right away to Niner fans was that cover zero blitz by the Miami Dolphins right before halftime last season, where they came in on a blitz and Purdy got crushed.
Good.
And he delivered a dime to George Kittle down the middle of the field, and it was like, oh, this kid is tough. First play of the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he gets smacked. Probably broke his rib on the play. They go down the field, they score a touchdown. They are up 35-7 at halftime. They're rolling over Tom Brady. He plays later on that week. Short week in Seattle with broken ribs. 4 days later, they didn't even know if he was going to play in that game. He plays. Niners, they clinched the NFC West title. It's a hat and T-shirt game for the Niners.
Yeah.
So there's no reason not to believe that Purdy's not going to believe in himself.
He's tough, but I'm saying he may get a little skittish at times. He may. And I don't think it's that crazy to say a guy that's played 8 games in the NFL may look a little shook at times coming off a major injury. I could be wrong. I could be. But Jimmy Garoppolo, what do we say about him? Well, he was also tough, wasn't he?
He was
But he made mistakes.
He was tough. But Herm Edwards, and Purdy didn't make the mistakes Jimmy G did, but Herm Edwards said the Niners are right to make Brock Purdy QB1.
I think the 49ers are handling it correctly. Purdy won. He won the team over, and rightly so. Here's a guy that, got picked where he got picked, and all of a sudden, due to injury, and this has kind of been the quarterback's history with the 49ers. Poor Kyle, he's about to scratch his head. I got to play another quarterback and still find a way to win. And this guy went in, and obviously what he did, taking over, and then in the playoffs, he wins the game, but then gets hurt against Philly. But if there's competition, but I get all that. But really, I mean, he's the guy right now until he shows you different.
And that was Herm Edwards, who was on with Willard and Dibbs yesterday. Also, could Purdy and Lance become a distraction, having both these guys in the quarterback room? Here's what Herm said about that.
I don't think that'll happen this season. I really don't. I think the season will play out. That's similar to Joe and Steve Young. And I was involved in that one because I was an assistant coach in Kansas City when we got Joe. And, Steve Young became the quarterback. Now, that's a whole different deal. I mean, if you're a 49er fan, that's like being a Green Bay fan for all those years. They go Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and you guys go Joe Montana and Steve Young. That ain't all bad.
So what's going to happen with Trey Lance? What's going to happen? Jin Lee Chan joined Willard and Dibbs. Is Trey Lance going to start that first preseason game? And is Brock Purdy good enough to even bench him in a preseason game? Has he earned that right to be benched in a preseason game? Here's what Jin Lee Chan said about that.
I would think it'd be Trey Lance, but, they've Trey Lance and Sam Darnold have been splitting first-team reps throughout. So whoever is when Brock has a day off, it's an alternate between Trey Lance and Sam Darnold being the start, taking the snaps the ones. When Brock is practicing, then they kind of alternate to who is the number 2 spot and number 3 spot.
Well, is there a chance that Lance doesn't even make the roster?
I don't think so. I mean, I think for how much draft capital they used to get him and how well he's played so far in training camp, I don't see that happening. He's too valuable to them. And I think John Lynch said it the best earlier in the week when he said, we are forever going to be influenced by the fact that they went through 4 quarterbacks last year. So I don't think that they would let Trey Lance go by any means.
All right, that's Jin Lee Chan, of course, 49ers insider for NBC Sports Bay Area. 49ers reporter for NBC Sports Bay Area, of course, on with Willard and Dibbs yesterday. 888-957-9570. Shameless shout-outs coming up in 18 minutes. Shout out whoever you want to shout out, your dog, your cat, your liquor store, your car, your house, your neighborhood, your city. Shout out whoever you want to shout out. That's coming up in about 18 minutes, shameless shout-outs.
That's interesting to me. 8 games, and we're already saying, you don't need to play in the preseason. I disagree with that, especially coming off that injury. I need to see how that arm looks with live bullets, with legit guys coming at you. I know it's not going to be, Max Crosby or anything, but these are fringe guys you'll be going up against. I'm interested to see how that looks. I think a lot of fans would like to see Brock Purdy out there. Maybe Kyle Shanahan believes, I don't want to risk it. That's fine. But I would like to knock off some of that rust because him going in just straight up into Pittsburgh scares me a little bit, Bonte, without having any live bullets. It does.
Are you in the camp that they should maybe compete for the top job?
It's hard to say that because of how well Brock played last year, but I understand a lot of fans saying, listen, he only played 4 more than Trey so far, and you gave up all of this draft capital for this guy, Trey Lance. He has all the intangibles that you want that Jimmy Garoppolo did not have. I would like to see a quarterback competition. I just don't think Kyle Shanahan sees it, man. I just think he thinks Brock Purdy is that dude, so much so where Jennifer Lee Chan's saying,
right,
he doesn't even need to play in the preseason.
That's crazy.
That's crazy to me, right?